We are pantry cooking this week. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today's video is super fun and delicious. I have cooked some pantry meals for my family this week. I did not meal plan, and normally I meal plan, and you guys know that. Even if I'm doing shop from home meals. But for this one, I thought that I would take the time and every single day look through what we have and pick what we are having for supper that morning. So that's what I've done. Went through, picked stuff every single morning from the fridge, from the freezer, and decided what meals my family is going to be eating for this whole week. So let's go ahead and get cooking, and I hope you guys enjoy. On Monday night, we had pulled pork, green beans and potatoes, and some corn. I pulled these rolls out of my deep freeze, and then I also had some already smoked, cooked pulled pork that Luke had cooked previously, and I had divided it up into like 2 different freezer meals. That way I could have it for this purpose and be able to pull it out and have already cooked protein ready to go in the freezer. So I was able to just throw in some green beans and potatoes and some corn, and supper was done. It literally took 15 minutes for me to feed my family. So for my corn, I always put sugar and butter in it. And then for my green beans, sometimes I add potatoes, sometimes I don't. This time I decided to. But for seasonings, I normally just do salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, W sauce. Sometimes I'll add in bacon bits. It really just depends on what I have in the fridge. But here it is. Like I said, this took 15 minutes from frozen. I just cooked that pulled pork in the microwave with saran wrap over it, added a little bit of water in there, that way it made some moisture, and cooked the rolls in the oven. And you guys, that was it. This was so good. On Tuesday night, I ended up fixing some baked fish with some roasted vegetables and a creamy spinach orzo. I will have a similar recipe to the orzo linked down below, but as you know, when you're pantry cooking, you're really just using what you have on hand and hoping for the best. And this week of meals was super delicious, so I was really happy with everything that I fed my family. But the orzo is what's going to take the longest, so we're going to go ahead and get that started first. For our orzo, we're going to go ahead and get it added into the pan. It's nice and hot with a couple tablespoons of melted butter. We're just going to toss it around for a few minutes and get it nice and toasty. Here is what vegetables we're going to be using for our roasted veggies. We've got some carrots, some sweet potatoes, some zucchini that was a little soft, it definitely needed to be used. We also have some peppers, and then Luke had been asking for Brussels sprouts, so luckily I had some in the freezer, so I pulled those out as well. Now that our orzo is nice and toasted, we're going to add in some garlic, give it a stir for a minute or 2 just to get fragrant. Now we are going to start adding in our chicken broth. As you've seen, I used my home canned. So what I did is I just dumped it out of that can, put it in that pot back there, and let it heat up. So I'm going to take a cup or 2 and add it into the pasta at a time until it completely absorbs into the pasta. Once it absorbs, you're going to add more broth in and repeat that process until the noodles are cooked through. Let it soak up in between each time. I've got my oven preheated at 400. We're going to season up our vegetables. I've got everything on the sheet pan except for the zucchini because that will not take as long, so we will add that closer to the end, but it will be seasoned the same way. I always just do some olive oil with some balsamic vinegar, and then I just kind of pick whatever seasoning sounds good. This time we use some Greek seasoning, which is really good on veggies. Of course, just season with your heart, which you know your family is going to enjoy. When I was looking through the freezer to plan out this night's dinner, I seen that I had 3 pieces of each kind of fish, so I pulled both of them out, We're going to do a sweet version on the mahi-mahi, and then we're going to do a savory version on the tilapia. Now, if you watched my 3-ingredient video that I posted a few months ago, if not, I'll have that video linked down below. But I did a Italian brown sugar chicken, and it was so good. And I really wanted to try it on fish, and I'm really glad I did because this was really good, and we will definitely be making it again. So it's just brown sugar and Italian seasoning. I just mixed that together on top of the fish, and then we will get that put in the oven. And then for the tilapia, I did just some of that Greek seasoning on both sides, and then I gave it a brush of mayonnaise, and then I just sprinkled on some breadcrumbs on top, and then I just put both of those in the oven. Fish does not take as long to cook, so I definitely put this in last. And then just make sure you check it. Internal temperature for fish is 145. Our veggies are almost done, so I'm going to go ahead and add on that zucchini, give those a season, and then we'll put those back in the oven. Everything's coming together, so we're going to go ahead and finish up the orzo. As you can see, the pasta is cooked through, so we're going to add in our spinach and add in some heavy cream. Give that a mix. The spinach will wilt down and it will all come together. I just kind of eyeball the heavy cream. It's just going to depend on how creamy you want it, and then the consistency that you want once you add in your cheese as well. Here is the roasted veggies. We've got our fish and the creamy spinach orzo. This supper was delicious. On Wednesday night, we did cheeseburger sliders and french fries. Luckily, I had already pattied out my hamburger meat super thin and even, so it was perfect to be able to cook these up on a sheet pan. I did 2 of them because I knew the hamburger meat would shrink up, and I wanted it to be able to fit on all of the slider buns. So I took and seasoned it on both sides, put it in a 350-degree oven until it was cooked through. I just checked it with a thermometer, and then we will assemble our cheeseburger sliders. Now, I had picked up a twin pack of these Hawaiian rolls at Sam's Club at the beginning of the week, and we ate one of them, but I needed something to do with this other one, and so I thought this would be perfect. We love cheeseburgers, and this would kind of change up, you know, the traditional cheeseburger, and this was so good, you guys. The boys killed these. This will definitely be a new favorite in my house. I just kind of assembled the meat, had to cut it up in a few places just to arrange it, and then I just added on some American cheese, and then I put the top buns on top, and then I just put it in the oven until the cheese was melty and the buns were toasted. I just cooked up some fries in the oven to go along with it. And like I said, these were so good. We will definitely be making these again, and I'm glad I had everything here at the house to throw this meal together. On Thursday night, we did steak fajita quesadillas with salsa minute rice. Everybody loved these. I love keeping the Great Value sirloin Philly steak on hand. You can literally change it out with any cuisine. It is such a great freezer protein to keep on hand. We're also going to be using some frozen peppers and onions, some tortillas. I always have tortillas in the house. And then we're going to make the rice to go with it. I'm going to go ahead and cook up my peppers and onions. Now, of course, you can do it together if your family's not picky. But if you know, Winston and I aren't fans of peppers and onions, and so I try to, cook separately, and then for the grown boys, I can put their steak and peppers together on the quesadillas. Now, that's one of the joys of customizing it to your family. Change it up, fix it how your family likes. You could even use chicken instead of steak, or whatever you want to do. I'm just going to go ahead and add that steak in, let it cook up. I did add in a little bit of taco seasoning, but you can season it up with whatever your family likes. And using these frozen sirloin patties, it takes 2 seconds to cook them. And like I said, to go along with it, we're going to make some salsa minute rice. I have made this so many times on my channel. It literally takes 6 minutes in the microwave, and it is so easy. I will make sure to have the recipe linked down below for you guys. Now it's time to assemble our quesadillas. I've just got some butter melted there on my griddle. I've got my tortilla down. I'm going to add on a decent amount of cheese on each one. You can use queso blend, mozzarella, whatever cheese you want, or whatever cheese you have on hand, which is what we're working with this week. And then just customize it to your kiddos and yourself. I'm going to do just steak on 2 of them for me and Winston, and then the rest will be steak and veggies. I did try the steak and veggies. I still am just not a fan of peppers and onions. I'm sorry, I tried. And now it is time to eat. We've got our salsa minute rice, we've got sour cream, extra salsa, and extra cheese. And then here are the quesadillas. Y'all, these were so good. We are ending the week with some homemade pizza. So first we're going to make our homemade pizza dough, because this will take about an hour and a half in the bread machine. You're going to need yeast, salt, butter, flour, sugar, and water. I will make sure to have the recipe linked down below for you guys. This is the second time that I have made this recipe, and it is so good, so easy to put together, and I always have all of these ingredients on hand, so there's no reason why I can't make this homemade crust. Now that the dough's done, we're going to go ahead and assemble our pizzas. I did a double batch, so we're going to go ahead and divide that dough up in between 2 pizza crusts. Now this was the perfect end of the week meal, because I was able to really use up some stuff that we had in the fridge, and I made homemade crust, and I had everything on hand. We have some sauce that Winston opened up at the beginning of the week to make an after school snack. And we also have a bunch of random cheeses that need to be used. We got some pepperonis and some bacon bits. So I'm just going to assemble these 2 pizzas, get them put in a 400-degree oven until they're cooked through. When the pizzas come out of the oven, I just rub the crust down with some of this Chef Shamey's garlic butter. You can find this at Sam's Club if you've never had it before. It's so good, and they do have different flavors. They've got like savory ones and sweet ones. They're definitely worth the money. There's nothing better than homemade pizza to end a pantry cooking week. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope it gave you some inspiration and motivation to check out what you have in your fridge and freezers and pantry and see what you can come up with to cook for your family this week. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.